Keep smiling, keep smiling. And Facebook, I need the
Well, why don't you welcome everybody and talk as you're.
Hi, everybody.
Hey there.
I don't even know if anybody watches these videos later. We're just
Oh,
making them for posterity so people can see what we looked like when we were younger, when we're much older or dead.
what, for posterity? Is that what
Right.
is that what you're saying?
Yep, posterity. Or was it
Facebook.
posterior? I
Yes.
can't remember. Yeah, we're gonna make them for posterior. Wow, you shared that mighty quickly.
Yeah. Send my notifications. Just click and I'm done.
Do, 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 do. Right, is it Star Trek cruise time yet?
Not yet.
Ugh. I don't want to tell you how many days are left. Actually, I need to get through this week. I just need to get through this
Just
week.
focus. Just focus.
Just get through this week because that's when the dominoes start to tumble, and I'll blink twice, and it'll be early December.
Right. Yeah, no, it'll be Christmas before you know it.
Lots of travel coming up. I got four conferences in 4 consecutive weeks. Toronto, then Dallas, then London, then New York. In a couple weeks, then I'm going to Charlotte, and I'll get to see Craig.
That's right. So that's official?
Yes.
Okay. I
Yeah.
need the sign up link, by the way, if there is one.
It's up there. He posted it this week. And, also got I get an email yesterday that says, "Hey, I saw you're coming to Charlotte. Can you come by and do a developer meetup in Raleigh too?"
Yeah, I'll just drive by. It's a
Well,
4-hour drive.
no, he said 2, and I remember 3, so it's somewhere between there. And
It's a 4-hour drive. No, I'm sorry.
not from Charlotte.
I'm sorry. I take that back. From Charlotte, yeah, from my house it may be. But yeah, it's about a 3-hour drive from Charlotte.
And I technically, I could do it, but it means we would have to scrap our Friday plans. And, it's like, no, no, no. And I don't know if too many developers wanna get together on a Friday night. So,
Oh,
I said, "Another time, another
yeah.
time." So, we
It's a
shall see.
long, boring drive. You wouldn't want to do that.
I've done it before. That's when I started listening to the back issues of was it Grammar Girl? I think it was.
Hmm.
'Cause it was about that time I was still working at Plexus, and I
Yep.
had to go to Raleigh, and I flew into
Oh,
Charlotte. You and I were supposed to get together,
yeah. I
but
remember
I
us
got in
talking
so
about that.
late that we scrapped that, and I had to drive up to
Hmm.
Raleigh that evening because I
I
I
do remember
landed,
that.
like, at 4 or 5, and I went, "We're not gonna have
Yeah.
any chance to get together."
I do
And
remember it's talking about that a long time ago.
Mark Horstman from Manager Tools told me about the Grammar Girl podcast, and she was on, like, episode 50 or something at the time, maybe even less. I said, "Oh, I'll give a listen." So I listened to pretty much all of them on that drive.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to. They're not very long. They're not super long.
Right. Well, yeah, her show format was a little different back then too.
Hmm.
Alrighty. Okay.
I didn't
Hey,
listen to any
Mike.
podcast this weekend, man. I'm
No,
slack.
I was light on them because when I was in the car, we had a couple longer trips. Friday, I went from here to Mesa, which is about 40 minutes, and I listened to a few. I had a charity thing. So the Arizona contingent of ServiceNow was doing Feed My Starving Children, where we were bagging up
Hmm.
food and packing it in a box. My job was vegetables. I
With
took
dried
our
vegetables? Is that
you
what they?
you ever been to a Mongolian barbecue where you get the little ladles that you put the sauces on at the end?
Yeah.
That's kinda what I had. It was like, "Scoop." So I waited for Mr. Vitamins to my left or to my right, and he went tink into the funnel, then I went tink into the funnel with the vegetables, and then
Right.
the girl to my left went, what did she have? Soy and rice. So it was tink, tink,
Oh, y'all
and
were actually feeding people in real time.
no, we were packaging up little bags of things that make
Okay.
6 servings of food.
Yeah, we've done that at our church, like, did the, shoe boxes, or meals, and they had, like, you know,
Yeah,
everybody had a station, and
that's the way the
they
food
filled.
bank at St. Mary's would be, you take a can you get 1 bag of beans, you get 2 things of corn, and you get rice, and it all goes into a cardboard
Mhm.
box.
Right.
We did that about a year ago. I was the guy who assembled the boxes
I see. Yeah.
for our station anyway.
Yeah.
So we made about 140 pallets? No,
Oh,
140 boxes, 140
boxes. Okay.
boxes worth of stuff. We were there for just over an hour, like an hour, but total assembly time was about an hour and 15 because we had a
Right.
intro, we had the outro. So yeah, it was a good way to get to know some of the local coworkers that I don't work with normally. And then we went
Sure.
out for lunch afterwards and got some more FaceTime.
Wait, you had lunch there. What?
No, I'm not eating freeze-dried vegetables. And
Right.
then, got to spend a little extra time with my boss. So
Okay.
I now have an official manager. So he wanted to hear my thoughts on, where I think the
Oh, you got a new manager because that was in flux there for a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, Marcelo left in early March when we were on the Star Trek cruise,
Mhm.
and we have been reporting to the director above for the last 6 or so
Oh,
months.
that's not gonna last long. I don't need to talk to all these people. What?
I had been having one-on-ones with the other advocates. I've been filling in as sort
Mhm.
of interim manager slash
Mhm.
senior member of the team slash whatever, but there was nobody was really focused on team growth, team vision, uh sponsoring the advocates as well as a manager can do. It really makes you recognize what you're missing when you're missing that role.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
nothing against Mark, but he had director things to think about, not his
Yeah, I
individual
know.
contributor. So,
I'm only kidding. Directors be like, "Ah, I gotta talk to these people
don't
again."
badmouth him. He's gonna be at the Charlotte meetup.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, no, I won't. No, that's too bad.
Alright, we should probably start
I
our
re
podcast
I
rather than
retract
talking
my
about
earlier statement.
our work life. Let's get on with our fun life.
Alright.
You ready?
Sure.
I'm gonna hit the recorder in 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 726. Do we have a title for this?
Did I
We
not put
don't.
one in?
No.
Where'd it go? I did. No.
Pre-show check for feedback. It's a
Wait a minute. So drive, look at
feedback on this day in
the
history.
template. Hold on a second.
Why do you insist on modifying a template?
No, I have a workflow.
Yet it's clearly weird.
I wonder, maybe
You take a copy of the template and
I
then
know
modify
that.
that.
I
No,
know
you
that.
modify the template first
You
and then
don't you don't understand what I'm doing. I know. I understand that. I understand you don't understand. I must have cut it instead of pasted it. Okay, my
cut
fault.
it instead of pasted it.
No.
He's trying to
Oh
focus on
gosh.
something else and try to talk. This is where Craig gets fun.
Yeah.
His brain does
Hilarious.
not multitask.
Here you go. There. Here's your title.
Alright, nobody's seen it or heard it yet, so you'll know what
Uh-huh.
I'm laughing at in just a sec. Okay, I stop the
Right.
recording. We're gonna do this over. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 726. This is where Craig gets fun. Welcome to Technorama, the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the show. If you're returning, welcome back. My name is Chuck Tomasi from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and right over there is Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
I guess I'm okay.
Dear listener, if you're not watching the video stream at least once in a while, you are missing a whole lot of fun. There was some
Yeah.
on-camera antics that you can go back. We talked about work a little bit, so you can skip over that if you're not interested, but, uh trying to watch Craig multitask was just a riot. He's trying to talk and type and look up
I
something and copy something at the same time, and it was just the wheels were grinding in opposite directions.
well, I'm trying to explain to you my workflow, which there's a reason why I do it like this. But anyway, I guess earlier when I was doing the show notes, I must have cut the title instead of copy it.
Okay,
So that was my
we have
fault.
a template, So when we do the show notes, it always starts out with the same sections,
Mhm.
the same patron people, and if somebody gets added or dropped from the patrons, for example, we update the template.
Yep.
Okay, so tell me how you I don't know if this is gonna be interesting or not to the listeners, a little
All
peek
right.
behind the scenes, how the sausage is made. What
Here's what
do
I
you
do.
do when you start out?
So I pull up then when I go to do start our show notes, I pull up the template and I change the episode number and the date. And then I change the title on the template, and then I make a copy, and that's where I add all the stories and stuff on that copy.
Why do
Um,
you start modifying the template? I'm
it's
curious.
the reason I start modifying the template is because uh, when I pull this up, I go, "Oh, we were 725." I change it to 726. I don't have to think about it. I have to go, "What was
But
the
you would
last
know
episode number?"
that from the list of files.
Huh?
Don't
No,
you don't you look at the list of files and say, "Here's the show notes." Oh, look,
no,
it
because I'm
used to
on
be
in
122.
my Google Drive. In my Google Drive, they say suggested. It's like a few the last
You're
few.
taking them from the suggested?
Yeah, if you look at suggested, it's there. It's already there. It's one of the last edited documents I
Oh,
had.
you don't use Google Docs half as much as I do then.
Right. So templates is right there. I pull it up, I make the change, and then I copy. I must have copied the or title and stuff and cut it instead of copied it. But I copy the top part, which has Technorama episode 726 and the date. I copy that. So when I make the copy of this template, I can paste it in there and it looks like the rest of every file we've made for the last since
Yeah, that's what
2007.
that's what a template is for, right? What
Right.
I'm saying is you could solve this problem
Mhm.
and leave the template alone
Mhm.
by I have it in starred. I have our show notes folder as a starred item. So I click
Mhm.
starred, show notes, boom, there's the list.
Mhm.
So you're saying you're modifying the template because you can't count.
It's just easy. I don't have to think about it. It's not that I can't count. I just pull it up and I go make the changes. As a matter of fact, here's another reason. In my checklist, there's
Yes.
a link directly to this document, not to the folder where I got to go look for the file. I pull this up and make changes, and then make a copy of it. So it's in my template. I got a link. I'm sorry, it's in my checklist. I got a link straight to this document. I make a couple of changes and make a
I
copy of it and start
see.
adding files. So
But you could go
that's why.
to the show notes folder.
Why should I do that? I have a checklist. I just click on it and go straight to this.
You could have the link in your checklist go to the folder rather than to the document.
Then you got to sort and all that kind of crap.
No, it's
No, I'm
already sorted by
no
chronological.
right. And this would be at the bottom of the list.
But
The
the
template would
fact
because it would never be modified.
I have a pragmatic problem with modifying templates every week. Because I've gone to the show notes and said, "Hey, Craig, have you got the show notes?" He goes, "Oh, I left them in the template." And it's like Sunday afternoon.
Oh, that was my mistake. I did that a couple times.
See, there's
That's
a
the thing.
flaw in your
It's happened,
process.
dear listener. This has happened like maybe 4 times out of all the time we've been, and he's like, "Where are the links?" "Oh, I'm sorry. I did update the template by accident." And now it's like it's a problem.
It's the same as why Donna asks me every time if I put a dryer sheet in the dryer because I forgot once in 1990.
Yeah. All of a sudden it's a trend. Yeah. Once it's a trend. No, so there's reasons I do this. I got to link straight to this document. I want to be quick and efficient, so I can like, bam, update the things, and I don't have to spend a lot of time doing it because I got a
There's
lot of recurring tasks.
okay,
So
I'm going to counter your efficient with effective. Okay, they're not the same thing. If it's prone to error,
it
it's not
happens.
effective.
It happens once in a while, man. So yeah.
And
No,
you experienced it tonight, people, because I
how
had no
many
title for the show because you
how
didn't.
many episodes have we done and you've not had all that stuff ready? I think it's I think the error rate is pretty low.
The signal to noise.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty
it's
low.
not 0. Would you like to make it more effective, or would you like to make it more efficient, or
It's
both?
pretty no, it's pretty effective right now. I just click the link, go do do do.
You ever wonder if anybody listens to this banter or if this is the only reason they listen to it?
I'm
Yeah, our
telling you.
listenership goes right there. Let's get into our question of the week. Now that
Actually, my workflow. Well, I'll tell
we're
you.
moving on.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters. letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out.
Woo, woo.
Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Boing.
Mailman, mail today.
All right, our question of the week last time was, what conspiracy theory is so easily disproved that you don't understand how it's still going? We had a few comments on this.
Yeah.
You want to begin?
Yes. I'm sorry. I clicked on something. So my buddy, my high school buddy, Scott Long said that Taylor Swift is a clone of Anton Levy's daughter.
All right. Is that a conspiracy theory?
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. I haven't heard that one, but I'm not a
Well, here-
Swiftie, so
Not Swifty. Here's a reply from Mike Robinson. He says, Scott Long, that could explain her career. She was scientifically excreted for Satan. What?
Wow, that's pretty strong.
That escalated quickly.
Steve London says his conspiracy theory is that humans built the pyramids.
Of course.
I thought the conspiracy theory was that aliens built the pyramids. He's going in the opposite direction.
I'll say, I think I've heard that one before.
Aliens.
Yeah. Cal Nishioka, he says, I hear Soylent Green is people, but I don't know. Can't somebody just tell by taste?
I haven't tasted human before.
No.
I've smelled
not
burning
either.
flesh, but
All right, we got a few more.
You got one.
Yeah, let's see. Brian Parker, our buddy Brian Parker says, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. If there is one, there must have been 3 if you include Mommy, Daddy, and a Bigfoot. Good point. there would be clear evidence of their existence. To be clear, there isn't an 8-foot tall monkey man roaming the Pacific Northwest.
Well, they haven't ever found a whole lot of bear carcasses either, because scavengers and whatnot get them. So I've heard all sides of this one.
By the way, I've this weekend I was at an apple orchard, and they have this air cannon. They fire off all the reject apples they have. So they put them in there, and the kids can shoot the thing. So they charge a little bit, and they shoot off 5 apples. Well, there's a big board floating in a pond, and it's got targets and stuff that you can hit. But if you look on the shore to the left of it, on a tree, is Sasquatch, and it's kind of dark, almost like a silhouette. It's brown, but it's kind of dark, and it's cool to see the kids go, oh, and they turn the gun away from the big target, and they're trying to hit the Sasquatch that's probably like 10 foot farther, on a tree.
Banksy. That's all. Banksy drew it.
Hey, guess what? I did the same thing when I tried to shoot the apple.
Like you said, the kids do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gary Lindros wrote Loch Ness.
Yeah.
They sent mini subs, used LiDAR, fully mapped the whole place, and nothing shows up.
Ooh. Hey, Steve London again says, Gary Lindros, this is what they want you to believe.
That's right. And Jack Mangan says, I blame synchronicity too. There's a deep cut reference to the Police.
I was going to say.
In the song on the album Synchronicity, there is a song called Synchronicity 2, which mentions this in 3 different places. It says, something crawls from the slime at the bottom of a dark Scottish lake. Later in the song, they say, something crawls to the surface of a dark Scottish loch. And then finally, at the end of the song, they say, many miles away, there's a shadow on the door of a cottage on the shore. It starts to sound like Dr. Seuss when you read it that way.
I know.
Of a dark Scottish lake.
In a tree with, yes, green eggs and ham.
Stay off the moors.
Oh, I thought you were actually going to say the police were singing about LiDAR.
No. We have one more.
Okay.
Responding to my share of this post from the brother Vince. He says, the moon landing. Now, is he saying that it was fake or that it was real? Which is
the question is, what conspiracy theory is so easily disproved that you don't understand how it's still going on?
Yeah, but he just said the moon landing. Not that the moon landing was faked or the moon landing was real. He just said the moon
he says Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's the conspiracy theory of
Well
the moon landing or what is it? Yeah.
well, when you say the conspiracy theory of the moon landing, there are people that will say the moon landing itself was a
Mhm.
conspiracy.
I know. Yeah. I
Or
watch
there are
Mythbusters.
people
I
that'll
know.
say that there's a conspiracy that the moon landing was faked, that the moon
Yes.
landing was real, and they're like,
Yeah, you need
"Whoa, okay."
I
You
think
gotta be
you need to text him for some clarity.
yeah, yeah, it
You
would
can
be
do it
like
right now. Do it
it'd
while
be
we're
like
live on air.
if Steve London had just said, "The pyramids," like, "And what about them?"
Yeah.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
calling
text
him a
text your
moron.
brother right now. I want an answer by the end of the show.
Pass.
Oh man.
You
All
might
right.
stop and pause the show for boring reasons, but I will not.
Well, let's
Oof.
go back to the template issue. So
No, we're not. That train left the station 10 minutes ago, Craig. We're going to the rest of the show.
that was quick.
On this day in history for October 11th,
Hmm.
2023, this is the 284th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. And if you listened last time, you'll know when the Gregorian calendar was invented, because there are just 81 days remaining in 2023. Otherwise, there would be
Ah.
a different number, I think.
Hmm.
It was on this date in 1811 that this is the name of a ship, the Juliana, not a ship, I'm sorry. Yes, began operation as the first steam-powered ferry. Oh, it's a ferry, like with wings and a little wand.
Not that kind of fairy.
Well, set sail in New York Harbor. First
All right.
steam-powered ferry.
It was also on that date in 1910 that, piloted by Arch Hoxsey, Theodore Roosevelt became the first U.S. president to fly in an airplane.
Oh,
seems-
that makes sense. I speak softly and carry a big stick.
You know what? It's funny to think that he was the first, but
It was 1910. There weren't a
I
whole
know,
lot of
it
them.
just-
They weren't exactly safe.
I mean, we fly all the time now. It's funny to think about that kind of thing.
Also on October 11, 1950, CBS's Field Sequential Color System for television was the first to be licensed for broadcast by the U.S. Federal Communications Commission. Daddy, we got color on the telly.
On the telly. It was 65 years ago today that NASA launched Pioneer 1, its first space probe, although it failed to achieve a stable orbit.
Wah, wah. It was also on this date in 1968 that NASA launched Apollo 7, the first successful crewed Apollo mission.
And it was also on this date in 1984, aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger, astronaut Catherine D. Sullivan became the first American woman to perform a spacewalk. It wasn't
kinda
like
like a
Michael
moonwalk?
Jackson. Yeah.
Right.
It's like-
Kind of like the moonwalk. She was watching Michael Jackson, went, I can do that even better
yeah.
in space. It was on this date in 2000 that NASA launched STS-92. It was the 100th space shuttle mission.
Wow. That's awesome.
You going to read the next one?
Usually you start the birthdays out. Go ahead.
We got 2 more bullet items, dude.
Oh, do we? I'm sorry. I thought we were at the
Wow.
end. I'm sorry.
Follow along.
22 years
Let's
ago
talk
today.
about that workflow of yours.
Yeah. Well, back 2007, 22 years ago today, the Polaroid Corporation filed for federal bankruptcy protection. Wow.
Watching Craig crumble on this show.
I know.
Also on October 11, 2018, Soyuz MS-10 launched an intended crew for the ISS. They suffered an in-flight abort. However, the crew was able to land safely.
Nice.
Happy birthday goes out of this day to German physician and astronomer Heinrich Wilhelm Matthias Olbers, born on this date in 1758.
And an American businessman, founder of the H.J. Heinz Company, Henry J. Heinz, was born 179 years ago today.
H.J. Heinz, maker of fine firearms.
Catch up.
Hey, you ever been in a food fight? You don't want to be caught without ketchup.
Yeah. No, I don't.
You need your
intend to.
Heinz firearms by your side.
Yeah.
American humanitarian politician, 32nd First Lady of the United States, Eleanor Roosevelt, was born on this date in 1884.
And Frederick Burgoyne, whatever, German Argentinian chemist and academic, Nobel Prize laureate, was born on that same date in 1884.
Wow, Friedrich and Eleanor, they had to get together. They shared birthdays.
Yes.
American colonel, engineer, and astronaut C. Gordon Fullerton was born on this date in 1936.
And also turning 77 today is American singer-songwriter, guitarist, and producer Daryl Hall.
Oh my gosh. He's 77.
Yeah.
By the way, and also is redundant. Luke Perry, American actor and producer, was born on that same date in 1966.
And also born, see, I said I don't know, and again. And also born on the same date in 1969, Moroccan astronomer and explorer Mirami Chitidad. Chitted.
Moroccan? Was she carrying the Moroccos?
Yeah.
Also turning 47 today is American actress and producer Emily Deschanel.
And last but not least, American video game designer and composer Toby Fox was born on the date in 1991.
Listener birthdays this week. We've got two of them. October 11th is Bruce Barr, and Jason Schwanz is on the 13th. Happy birthday to them and to all of you. If you have a birthday this week, we wish you all the best. Hope you have a wonderful another trip around the sun. Congratulations for the last one. And we hope to see you on the birthday calendar soon. Craig's going to put that little banner up on the screen for people watching at home.
I'm
That way
pulling it up now.
the hearing impaired can see our birthday calendar at chuckchat.com/birthday. You go there and you know what you can do? You put your birthday in and we'll give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. Whether it's your birthday, your spouse's birthday, if you need a friendly reminder, you can even lie about it like a week ahead so that you
Lie about your
remember.
Lie about your age. Nobody does that.
Lie, yeah. There's some in there that say they're still turning 40, but this thing was put in like 2008. So, yeah, they're not 40 anymore. Happy birthday to all of you. We wish you all the best. chuckchat.com/birthday. Oh, look, the music is running out. Let's run out with it. And we need a random news sound. We're starting out with some bad news, so maybe we should do some bad news.
Bad news, nobody.
Well,
Hey,
it's
wait a minute. By
Yeah.
the way,
Yes.
Mike Robinson says Ellis is dead. That was his
that was his
theory.
conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
Hitler too. Yeah, never mind the fact that he'd be like 110.
Yeah. That's right.
No, older than that. Hitler was April 19th. He was born in the 1800s. He'd be like over 120.
Wow.
So-
Yeah.
Elvis was 42 when he died in 77. So I'm trying to do the math. 40 years before 77 would have been 37, 35. Oh, yeah, I forgot. He's the same age as my dad. He'd be 89.
Who, Elvis?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Elvis would be 89. So he could theoretically still be alive, but not Hitler. Unless, of course, he did the Walt Disney thing and froze himself and came back. But
Yeah. Just his head.
we're going to start a new podcast called Conspiracy AF.
Again, that's like the second or third time I've heard a reference to Walt Disney freezing his head this weekend. So
3 people last week mentioned lo-fi. You had mentioned it, and then I
Oh.
heard 2 more people. We were doing an interview on 2 different podcasts, and they
Mhm.
mentioned that. I went, "What? What? This is out unbelievable."
yeah.
Anyway, Lo-Fi Girl on YouTube. It
Oh, Lo-Fi Girl. Okay, I was trying to figure out what your context was.
plays
I
music
gotcha.
all the time.
Did you try Chill Hop?
I did. I didn't really care for it. It's not something
Oh.
that I would listen to. I got other things that I would prefer above that. There was Chill Hop. There was like listening to something at 1 a.m. She's got a bunch of playlists out there.
Mhm.
And I listened to what she was playing live, and what she was playing live is what I almost fall asleep to. Like too
I don't know.
slow.
I don't know. I like it better with speakers rather than like headphones, but yeah, just ambience.
I'll try it again sometime. I know
Okay.
she's got a different set of things, but
Yeah.
all right, let's get in with our first news story. This is about Amazon's Project Kuiper. These are satellites that are going to compete with Starlink. So they're sending up a gazillion of these things, eventually numbering more than 3,200 is what the article says from Ars Technica. And Starlink has 4,800. The problem is these are causing lots of light pollution for astronomers. And the picture we've got on the screen, if I can share that with people watching along at home. Let's see. Project, share screen. Screen number 2. Not screen number 1.
Riveting podcasting
It's
here.
changed along to screen number 3. Sorry, I was
There you
confused.
go.
It looks like a scratchy photo, and all those lines are different things orbiting the Earth in space. If you
Mhm.
can't see that, let me zoom in a little bit for you. It's rather noisy. So if you were trying to, and
Yeah.
not just visually, it also interferes with radio
Oh, I'm
astronomy
sure for
as well.
that for sure. Yeah.
You
Of
know,
course.
you spend all night gathering data from this galaxy that's 50 million light years away, and all of a sudden, whap, right through the middle of your picture or data comes a satellite. It's like, boogers, man.
Well, yeah, I know this picture I'm sure wasn't taken intentionally to show the lines, but uh there was even some cell phone. Now I know this is going to be a problem later because there'll be way too many satellites, but even with like cell phone photographs, remember a long time ago, and even now, probably some do it. You can take a picture uh, of somebody standing there, and it would take two pictures, and it would remove the people
Right.
because they're in a different spot or something like that. I'm saying they can do some things like that, but I still kind of a mess because that's kind of I can appreciate mobile internet, but this is a huge problem, especially Starlink's wanting to put like what 20,000 satellites
It's
out there.
it's getting to be a problem. My guess is that we're going to have, let me change our format back here. I had this vision of the future where we have so many things flying around up in the orbit. Now, I know they're at different levels of orbit, but most of these
Mhm.
that are the problem are in low Earth orbit, which I forget
Right.
what the number is, but it's something like closer than 200 miles from the surface of the Earth or something. It's pretty low. It's not like we're out at the L2 point where JWST is parked.
Right.
Way out there, and which is, what, like a third of the way between the Earth and the Moon, or past the Moon or something. It forgive my ignorance at the moment. I have not done fact
No,
checking beforehand, but
no,
anyway,
this is a
the
trend now.
but
Your
think about
ignorance.
this. If you've got 100,000 things up there,
Mhm.
something's going to collide, which is going to make a bunch of scrap parts flying around, which are going to fly into other ones, and you're gonna have this cascading effect, and it's just gonna knock out, you know,
Yeah,
90% of what's flying out there, because you're gonna have nothing but shrapnel killing other satellites, which turn into more
yeah,
shrapnel.
that does scare me a little bit. That there's so much, but that's the reason it's also low, not just for low latency, but some of those things can just fall and burn up in the atmosphere and be done with.
But the number is not decreasing, and,
No, it's
you know,
not.
if you say they're gonna burn up in the atmosphere, not all of them burn up completely, so
Mhm.
we could have things falling out of space landing on grandma's living room.
I know.
Can we start
Yeah.
another podcast? Crazy AF? I mean,
Right.
crazy conspiracy AF. That'll be it.
Yeah.
Here's my conspiracy. Actually, it's more of a prediction. All right,
Yeah.
we have more space news. We should just rename
Yeah.
this section of the show Space News.
Hey, I like the space news, and there's a lot of it.
I do too.
Yeah, I end up sometimes I find other things, but there's a lot going on with space.
And one of the things that's going on is that Curiosity rover finally made it to the mountaintop in Mars. There was no guru up there to enlighten them.
Yeah. Aw.
So Mars Mount Sharp, it's been climbing this hill for nearly a decade. They had to plan the last 3 years where how do we get safely there? Because there's lots of boulders in the way. Like
Mhm.
landslides happened, and it's not just, like going for a hike up the hill in my backyard. And you got to remember, Curiosity's roaming around at like a slow walk for an old person with a
The cane
walker.
or Walker, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a picture at the bottom. Isn't that the one kind of like behind it, and you can see all the boulder. It looks like some sea dried up, and there's rocks everywhere. They're kind of exposed.
Wait a minute, that
You can
looks
imagine that'd be hard to even.
suspiciously like
Huh?
Nevada. I think they just filmed this in Nevada.
Uh-oh, conspiracy theory.
There's an airplane in the background.
Yeah. There's a Coke can there on the but yeah, you can imagine this would be hard to walk on, much less drive over.
We found life on Mars. It's Jimmy Hoffa. Well, he's not technically not alive anymore.
Right. No, probably not.
Yeah, it's a hostile terrain, and this actually looks like some of the easier stuff because you can see the tracks. They had to find this easier path, which
Actually, you know what it looks like to me? It's like when you ever go on a beach and you've seen a bunch of seashells, sitting around.
these are big seashells.
No, I know that. I'm just saying that's what it looks like. I'm not.
Oh, the broken ones.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
a bunch of them sitting around. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about scale.
Do
But yeah, that's
seashells
what.
sit? Do they have something to sit on? Do
Sand.
seashells sit around?
Yeah, sure.
That's
Sitting
when
on a
you use
beach.
that's when you use one of my newest phrases. Also not important.
Yeah, also not important. That's about right.
It's like, I'm telling a story here. What you contributed is also not important.
Was this like pick on Craig night or something?
I thought that was every night on this show.
Yeah, it's our shtick, isn't it? I guess.
All right. We also have news from the center of the Earth because, it's hollow. Scientists have unlocked the secret of the Earth's core, according to Newsweek.com. They said they just found the Holy Grail. That's a funny place to hide it.
No, it's actually a smart place to hide it. Nobody found it until now.
And I'm pretty sure it's hot enough to melt it down there. But, if
Hey.
it's one of God's relics, then
Hey.
maybe it doesn't melt.
I hate it for Indiana Jones.
He chose poorly.
Oh, great, Dad. We got to go in the middle of the earth.
That's when the crack opened up in the floor and it
Mhm.
fell down. That's where it went.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can just get it on the ledge. You see, they should have just watched the movie. They would have known where it went.
Yeah, right.
No, what we're talking about is they unlocked one of the secrets of the Earth has obviously the crust, and inside that is the mantle, and then you've got the outer core and the inner core. And the
Mhm.
core is made up of mostly iron and nickel. The outer core is liquid or very molten, and the inner core is actually solid, which I did not know. And until recently, scientists thought that because it's under such extreme pressure, what do they say? They give like a real number, 3.5 MBAR, which is 3.5 million of atmospheric pressure. Remember, atmospheric pressure is 14.7, 14.4 pounds per square inch. Okay, so that's how much force the Earth's atmosphere at sea level is pushing down on us.
Right.
Multiply that by 3.5 million times, you get a lot of pressure. That's how we can form diamonds and whatnot in the Earth.
Right.
Lots of pressure. Well, they thought because it's under such extreme pressure that the atoms really did not have much of a chance to move. But they discovered, actually they do, and they move quickly and lots and fast, and that's where the Earth's magnetic field comes from. And we all love the Earth's magnetic field because it's protecting us from all kinds of radiation from the sun, including
And it
Keith
also keeps you
Lane's
from.
favorite cosmic raisin things.
That's right. That's right. And it also keeps you from getting lost on a hiking trail.
Yes, well,
If you use
there's
the
that.
compass.
We've
Yeah.
we've known about and birds flying, all kinds of things that the magnetic field is good for.
Mhm.
Well, they didn't really know how it was generated, but they said, "Yeah, we think we've got an idea." The funny thing is they said, "We talked to the physicists about this well-known uh, phenomenon of particles moving under solid." They did a simulation and they verified their idea. They went, "Wow." And the physicists go, "Yeah, why didn't you ask us sooner? We knew about that."
Yeah. All that research.
But they didn't publish a paper.
Yeah. If you didn't publish a paper, it didn't happen.
That's right. Writing it on the internet doesn't count.
Right.
So, yay! I don't know what we do with this new information that we now know why we have a magnetic field, but interesting to know. And
Yeah.
I have to think that it somehow includes both the solid and the liquid part of the core. Because according to recent ideas, hypotheses, whatever, Mars once had a stronger magnetic field as well, but when its core cooled down, which means it's solid or it was partially liquid and now it's solid, yeah, it has a solid core, but those atoms aren't moving, so I'm thinking the liquid part has something to do with this as well. or maybe it's
Maybe.
not hot enough to get this phenomenon going. That could be as well.
Hmm. Are you thinking about terraforming Mars?
I think that is a complete waste of money. We
No,
have better things to do to save our own planet than go and
I,
put 6 people on Mars.
no, but just think for a minute. I'm just the exercise going through it. You think you could restart the core?
No, it's too small.
Oh, is it too small on Mars? I
Yeah,
guess.
the planet
Okay.
is too small to
Well,
sustain that.
well, yeah, it's smaller than Earth.
Yes, it is. It's
Hmm.
it's slightly larger than the moon.
Yeah.
Alrighty, one more from the space. Actually, the last one wasn't too much space because it was Earth, but yeah, we talked about cosmic raisin things. So
Yeah.
we've got from space.com. Remember a couple of years ago when they took the first picture of a black hole in
Yes.
2019, the one that's out at M87? Well, they figured out that it's likely spinning. I thought all
Yes.
of them spun, but now we have some proof to prove that yes, it is. They've noticed that the jets of radiation that come spewing out from the black hole on basically its north and south pole are wobbling at about 10 degrees, and they said that could only happen if it was spinning. Now it's happening at an 11-year cycle, which is odd because they've only been observing it since 2019. So
Right.
no, I take that back. They took the picture in 2019. They've been studying this for many years before that. So,
Right. Yeah. The
yes.
picture was they took several pictures and were able to call it, if I remember right. Um, they were processing it. I forget how many pictures they took, so they could produce that blurry image, and then they used AI to clear it up. And actually, the picture that they have in the article is pretty clear, which is nice. It's clearer, which is cool. But
Clearer. It still looks like I need glasses.
yeah, I mean, it's not as uh less defined like it was. So that's what I was getting at. But
So this thing is 55 million light years away,
mhm,
and it's taking 11 years. Now I'm just throwing some numbers at you to compare. They've observed black holes that are closer to us, about 8,000 light years from Earth. And they said those jets were swinging in a period of minutes, not years. What does it mean? Well, size of the black hole, there's supermassive black holes, there's regular black holes. There's ones that are close, there's ones that are far. They said, stay tuned, more data is needed.
yep,
That's basically how it ended. So
yeah.
that's it for the news. We do have a hacks and strange stories. Oh my. You do know this is a joke, right?
I know.
I had to watch the video and go, okay, clearly this is all right. We do need the picture up here. So let us present with that. Okay. Google has come up with I shouldn't have
Google
jumped.
Japan came up with.
Yeah, Google Japan came up with the caps lock cap. No, they what did they call this?
It's the escape
keyboard
hat.
cap? The
The escape hatch.
they said, it's very inconvenient when you're on your mobile device and you want a keyboard because you don't have any place to really set the keyboard. So we put it in a hat so you can wear your keyboard on your head. And
Yeah.
they shaped this particular hat like a keycap on your keyboard. Put a
Yeah.
little baseball cap visor on it. There's actually electronics in here based on an M5 stick, a little Arduino microprocessor, and you put this on your hat, and a motion sensor transmits via Bluetooth. So if you turn your head, say 30 degrees to the right, you aim at the letter L, and then you tap your head and it clicks L. Then you move your head over to A and you click A. So and then they did some interviews at the end of this.
Yeah.
They presented it as
Right.
like a real engineering challenge that they
Yeah.
were coming to market with. And one of the guys says, "I've tried balancing a keyboard on my head for years and it just never works." Of course, all this is in Japanese. You have to be reading the
Yeah.
captions really fast.
Hey, the one comment I liked was the guy said, "When I saw it, I had to take my hat off."
Yeah, somehow I knew that one would resonate with you.
Hats off to that one. Yeah. That's
And they
funny.
said, we plan to be coming out with other fashionable styles also. And they were
Yeah.
showing pictures of like a chef tapping his chef's hat.
Man, there's no way. That's funny. Actually,
This
when I
should have
saw this, I
been,
was like, "Are you serious? What is this?" And then, yeah, I
it
have to
looks like
figure it out.
something Think Geek would come out with on April Fools. That's what it reminds me of.
That's right.
That is just kudos to them. Because
Yeah.
initially you
Hats
go,
off to them.
those people in Japan, they come up with some crazy stuff. It's like
Yeah, they do.
they also have a sense of humor, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of sense of humor, you can hang out with us like Mike Robinson did. We do this show Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern time.
Mhm.
Runs about the same length as the audio program, only you can't, hang out with us in double speed if that's
Well,
what.
no, there's a few minutes earlier. So, actually, if you wanna see us goofing around for a few minutes before we start recording, you can jump in and watch us.
That's right. 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Even after you all change your clocks, it'll still be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Right.
So look for us there. We also would like to thank our patrons because they are the ones who make this podcast go with their generous contributions for as little as $1 a show.
Or you can blame them for what we do here.
enablers. So people like Alexis Duran, enabler. Amber Elstead, enabler.
Oh,
Amy
no.
Bowen, phone her up at home. I'll give you her phone number. You can blame her.
No, you can give her phone number out.
Avner Braverman. I'll give you a street address. We send him a postcard. Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez. They're all on the chopping block. Chris MC, Dandy Mancoyer, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis. We love our patrons.
Yes.
Gary Lindros, John Clifford, John Noble, Jorga Schrauen. Looking forward to seeing him in a few weeks. Crazy Joe Adventures, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Brad Miller, Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, Steve London, and Tim Cook.
I like the whole row of Steves there for a moment.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got 5. If your name's not Steve, go ahead and sign up anyway. You
Right.
can do so at patreon.com/Technorama Podcast if you find this show entertaining or even a little bit informative. Oh, wait. No, it's the other way around. Informative or even a little bit entertaining. Either works for me. Either works for me, too. But tell you who doesn't work for me, none of these people on the list. Patreon.com/Technorama Podcast. We'd love to include you on that list. Let's
That's right.
stop that. Fade it out. There we go. And now's the part where we talk about shows, books, movies. And Craig types his in as fast as he can because he didn't.
Actually, well, the reason I didn't put anything in there because I was like, I don't think I really watched anything else, and I went, oh wait, I did actually.
You got to check your spelling on that. You spelled
I know.
Ashoka.
Okay.
Why don't you start with Ashoka?
Actually, Ahsoka, I thought I liked a lot. It was continuation really of the Clone Wars. No, Star Wars Rebels. Which if you watched,
Well, her character was introduced on
it was she was in Clone Wars.
Clone
Yes.
Wars. Yes.
She was also in Rebels, and a lot of the characters that were also in Rebels carried over into Ahsoka. And I'm not going to give any spoilers since it just finished, but I really enjoyed. I started to say, "Why is there a D plus?" Oh yeah, Disney Plus. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. There were some times when it seemed like it was slow, but I won't say slow because there was a reason why the person was standing there, like doing nothing for a second. And I
Yes.
liked how they kind of hung on them after they said their sentence. So it didn't feel like it was slow in a lot of sense, but they did drop a lot of Easter eggs. There's a lot of callbacks, you name it, whatever it is, in the show. And I really enjoyed it. So that's my
Cool.
recommendation. If you like Star Wars and like Ahsoka, give it a shot.
I'm waiting for the sequel, a Super Ahsoka.
Right.
She's just Ahsoka.
Yeah.
All right. I watched a couple on Netflix. One is called Who Killed Jill Dando, about a British newscaster for the BBC. And she was killed in 1999, mysteriously, shot in the back of the head on her doorstep as
Oh
she
my
was
god.
going to her house. I don't remember hearing anything about this. It was very strange. So it was partly like from a historical perspective, what happened. It is still an open case. So spoiler alert, they don't know, but they tell you that right in the intro as well.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really ruin it. If you watch the first 2 minutes, you're going to know. And there are some interesting characters in here. One guy was accused, tried, convicted, then later found not guilty. So he was released, but he spent 8 years. And you kind of feel for this guy because he's not, he's mentally handicapped in some way,
Hmm.
but he's able to communicate. He presented himself at one point as Freddie Mercury's cousin. He'd go around and tell women, "I'm Freddie Mercury's cousin," and he would use Freddie's like family name. And,
Right.
just he was a strange character, but there was no empirical evidence to prove he did it. Um, so it's sad for the people around Jill and her family, uh, of what happened. So it was an interesting 3-part show. I like most of these 3-parters are probably gonna be condensed into 1, but,
Right.
I like true crime shows, which reminds me the 2nd season of the Murdaugh murders, is on, Netflix as well. I think the first part ended with, "Okay, we locked him up and he's gonna have a trial." Well, we're learning what's happening at the trial. So I just started watching that. I'm about halfway through. Another 3-parter. Um, but much shorter. These are only like 30 minutes, so I can down them fast.
Right.
The second one I watched is another one on Netflix, which is a historical World War II thing called Ordinary Men:
Hmm.
The Forgotten Holocaust. So
Okay.
this is part of Nazi Germany, World War II. That's the setting. And they said it was getting along in the war. Yeah, it was like 1941, 42, and the Germans were losing a lot of their soldier talent on the Russian front.
Right.
So that wasn't going very well. So they
Hmm.
started recruiting or drafting regular people. A barber here, a plumber there,
Oh.
a baker there. So all these men were called up for service, and they said, "You're going on a special mission." And they didn't tell him what it was until they actually went through their basic training. They got him on site and go, "Here's the mission." It's basically to shoot Jews at point blank.
Right.
And the one historian estimated that about 2 of the 6 million people were killed in this way. They said about 3 million were killed in the gas chambers, 1 million were due to
Really?
death
Wow.
and overworking and starvation and whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was a considerable amount. Now here's the kicker. These guys had a choice. They said, "Anybody who doesn't feel like they're up to this task can step out right now." Now, they still had to do their service, and they were put on things like KP, which is your kitchen patrol,
Say
peeling potatoes and
peeling
whatnot.
potatoes. Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Right.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get to murder the carrots instead.
Yeah.
Uh, but they were also shunned by the guys who were doing this, and you started to see basically 3 different personalities. They follow this company 101, no relation to our show, and
Right.
they said there were the people who were conscious. Oh, and if you declined, there was no real punishment other than, the psychological.
Really?
Yeah.
I had
You
trouble
did
believing that, but
you
wow.
didn't get banned, you didn't get, dejected, you didn't go to jail. But you got put on, like, latrine duty to
Yeah.
clean out the porta potties. It was really dirty work. So there were that 3 different personalities that would emerge from this job. One
I
is the
met.
conscientious objectors who would go,
Mhm.
"I'm just gonna sit here and peel potatoes and deal with it, and whatever they say, they say." There were the people who actually carried out the executions, and those were 2 types. There were the 2 that one would go out and do this and come back and not really say anything, and then the
Mhm.
others would come back and brag about it. They're very proud, they were doing the right thing, and, I'm not condoning any of this, of course.
Right.
The, but it was fascinating, and then they go to, forward to, like, 1947, 48 in the Nuremberg trials, and many of these people, they said they weren't dummies. There were people there with 2 college degrees,
Right.
and they were very literate. They were very smart people that were on trial anyway.
Mhm.
Charismatic. You believe what they said, and they said, "Well, hang on. We feel like we're kind of double victims here because in one case." You're chastising us. When we did this, it was quote unquote legal, and we were told
Mhm.
by the state to do this.
Yep.
And now you're saying it's illegal, and now you're chastising us again. So it was an interesting perspective. Again, very tragic a black mark on the 20th century to be sure. But
Absolutely.
it was about an hour, I think, called "Ordinary Men: The Forgotten Holocaust," and "Forgotten Holocaust" is in quotes. Uh,
Yes.
so if you're into history, those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So just remember that.
Yeah. Wow. I had not heard about that before.
I knew, we've seen footage, and that was ultimately the downfall of these Nazis is they documented everything. They were not
Right.
allowed to film, shooting people and they fall into the pit.
Mhm.
Uh, but some did. What they did is they documented, today I shot 431 men, 615 women, 13
Was that the
children.
proof that they had to
Yeah.
provide? Just writing it down?
They journaled how many people they killed.
You just write down a number. You don't have to do anything.
Oh, they they wrote down the number, the men, the women, the children.
No, I'm saying, why
What?
did they actually have to kill? Why didn't they just write down a number?
It was it w
If there's no it's you don't have to
because
provide
it
that was
it
your
well,
proof.
because if somebody in that was the other thing is like, "Oh, these other guys who are peeling potatoes," the psychological game was, if you don't do it, then your friend has to do it. So they were like, "Well, I don't wanna dump that burden on my teammate here, so I'll go do it." That was one of the groups that was in like, that middle group, the people who went out and did this.
No,
They didn't do
I
it because they
understand.
enjoyed it. They did it because they didn't want somebody else to do it. But they had
I'm
to
just
do it
saying.
because if you go up the chain of command, uh, what was his name? Major Trop, he said, "Look,
Mhm.
someone's gotta do this. This is our job. This is why we were sent here. If you wanna step back, I'm okay with that, but someone's gotta do it. By the end of the
No,
day, we have to exterminate 1,500 people." You can't just write down
right.
numbers in books and say, "Okay, see you, go into the woods."
That's what well, that's what my point is. I was like, what was the proof? Just did they have somebody double checking, or they go, I could
Probably,
just write a
every
number
once
down and
every
walk
once in a
off,
while, the field marshal would come around, I
What's
guess.
to stop you from just grabbing the gun and say, okay, see you later, and come back with just a list of numbers?
Oh, there were
You
there
don't
were
have
also
to.
some cases, this guy was walking th they had to take this group of people out into the woods and shoot them point blank, and, he's as they were walking, they were also talking, which humanizes things. Usually, you keep
Yes.
your
Oh my
subject
gosh.
at a and the guy's talking to this, he says, "Yeah, I own the movie theater in town." He goes, "Oh, man, I go to that movie theater. I'm about to
Uh-huh.
kill the owner of the movie theater that I go to all the time."
I
It's like,
know. Yeah.
this'll mess you up. This'll weigh on your mind for the rest of your life. So,
That
crazy stuff.
whole thing is just wrong on so many levels.
Let's change to something a little more cheerful, shall we?
Yeah. And now
Let's
for something completely different.
well put. Great segue.
Welcome to Blockhead Video. Hey, where can I find some good information about music and TV and videos and things? Over here in the media corner.
Hey,
Well, the good news
I'm disappointed in you. You didn't come up with that first.
and now for something completely different. There we go.
Yeah.
So, what we've found in a vault are some of the lost episodes of Monty Python. Now, it doesn't say the Flying Circus. It just says some of the early works of Monty Python. So, for 54 years, the 6 episodes of A Complete and Utter History of Britain were in the vaults of British Channel ITV. The archived episodes are only available in the UK for now. Wah, wah.
Mhm.
So, they did say only 2 episodes were previously available to Python fans, but now all 6 can be streamed. However, the joke's on you, America. They're only available in the UK for now.
Wow.
But Good news, everyone. No, wait, that doesn't.
Well, I know you are. I am a Monty Python fan, so I thought, oh, that's pretty good. So that's why I threw it in here.
I'm sure there will be something leaked or, VPN
Hey,
your way into that.
it would be better news if it was available everywhere, but yeah,
Right. And
yeah.
Netflix already has a good collection of Monty Python history and clips and
hmm
whatnot, specials. I
Oh,
suspect
the
it'll
lawyer's
show
cut.
up.
There was a Monty Python, the lawyer's cut.
I suspect it's showing up soon.
uh,
Okay, that takes us to the end of the show. Let's see.
all right.
Wow, that was fast. It felt like we were talking for about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Crazy.
about right. That's about right. I
So
timed it right.
we have one more question of the week for you to ponder this week, and we'll put it on social media for you so you can hear it there or read it there. What idiotic trend? Something tells me Craig wrote this one. What
Yeah.
idiotic trend throughout the years can you happily say you've never participated in?
Planking. Remember when everybody was
That's the
planking?
first one that came to mind for you? Now wait,
Yeah.
you've never done a plank as an exercise?
No, I
Or are you
mean, like,
just talking about,
people were
like,
taking
suspending
pictures.
yourself between 2 chairs?
No, it's just people were laying on the ground and you take a picture or whatever, planking. I never did that. Well,
I'm gonna go with
not outside of the house.
I'm gonna go with one that'll make people, probably raise their eyebrows.
Hmm.
Smoking! Yes, I consider that an idiotic trend.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
There's no reason to start. Many people have a very difficult time to quit.
Yeah.
Just avoid the whole thing entirely
Yeah.
and do
Um,
everybody I was thinking about this the other day. I went, "Wow." There was a time not too long ago when
mhm.
people were smoking on planes.
Oh, yeah.
There's, it was Garrett Wong and, um Robert Duncan McNeil
I
doing
started to
their
say Neil Patrick Harris, but that's
no,
not
yeah, no, it's a
right.
three-parter name. John Philip Sousa, I don't know.
Yeah.
They were talking to Terry Farrell about her
Okay.
early career, and she said, "I got to go on the Concorde,
Oh, wow.
like, a few times," and she said people would be smoking on that thing, like, "Ah, that would
Yeah.
drive me batty." If there
Well,
was time to wear a mask, that would have been it.
even today, it's funny how many airplanes still have an ashtray on them.
In the restroom, you have to.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's an FAA requirement, but yet they say,
it's a
"Don't
requirement, but
smoke on the plane, that you
yeah,
don't mess with the smoke detector, but
right.
here's an ashtray." That one gets
Why would they even bother with the ashtray during when they built it? And these are newer, well,
because
newer. I knew
somebody will do it, and you have to have a proper way to extinguish it.
throw it in the toilet.
No, don't throw it in the toilet.
See, they shouldn't be on the plane anyway.
Yeah. So, that's yeah,
Hey, I grew up around people smoking.
I did too. I
It
got
doesn't
my dad to
100%.
quit.
Look, it doesn't 100% bother me. Other people are smoking,
Does
but
me.
well, I just hate being stuck somewhere where I have to be where they're smoking. Like I say and not too far past. We had to be in a restaurant. They had a smoking section, and a non-smoking section, but let's be clear. You can still smell the smoke everywhere. I always hated it being at a table, especially somebody lights up and I'm like, I'm still eating. I don't want to smell cigarette smoke while I'm eating. That's just disgusting. I hate that. And you
Last
know
summer
what else gets
I
me?
was yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of smoking, how many cooking shows have you seen, competitions, and the chefs like Hell's Kitchen, or I guess
You
it's
talking
Hell's
about
Kitchen?
double dipping or where they taste the
And
sauce and put the spoon back?
no, 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 no. Was it Hell's Kitchen or something? In the breaks, the chefs are back there and they're like, "Oh, that was terrible," and they're all. I'm like, how can you be a chef and smoke? Doesn't that impair your taste and smell?
Yes.
Why would
And then
you
you
do
come
that?
back smelling of cigarette?
Oh
Now it's
yeah.
affecting the aroma of the
Well,
food?
talking about being stuck somewhere, I used to DJ in a bar, and every night I'd take my shirt off, and it's like, oh, you could smell it.
Oh, I
It
know.
was disgusting.
When I was
Ugh.
when I was at my dad's, birthday party last summer, my brother-in-law and a couple of my brothers lit up the stogies, and it
Oh
just
wait, cigars are different.
that's smoking, Craig.
It's
Don't
different.
give me cigarettes versus cigars. It's
I will
smoking.
tell. I will. I'll put those
It's
against
it's
each other
it's
any
an
day.
it's still an idiotic trend for me.
Okay, but no, I disagree. But okay,
It I took those clothes and unfortunately I put them in my suitcase and now my suitcase smells like cigar ashtray.
okay. I won't disagree with you on the smoke, but I don't think cigar smoke smells like cigarettes at all. There's no way.
I didn't say they smelled the same. I said
Okay.
you're smoking and
Yep.
it's an idiotic trend. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Sure. Whatever, Chuck.
You are saying that because you are a cigar fan.
Yes, I am. I don't smoke them all the time. But yes.
There's zero need to smoke.
Sure, Chuck.
Idiotic trend.
Says the guy that doesn't drink coffee and all that kind of stuff either. So
I used to, and I know that I can't, so I don't, and I'm
yeah.
happier for it.
I
Look,
don't blame you. Hey,
no
I
yellow
seriously don't.
teeth, no heart fibrillations, no
I,
problem getting up
I,
in the morning.
I honestly don't blame you about the too much caffeine, but I drink a couple cups in the morning. No big deal.
You could do without it.
Possibly, but I like it.
Nobody
I
likes coffee. Come on, Greg. Nobody likes coffee unless they dump a ton of sugar and cream in it. And
Mm,
now you're not doing your weight any good.
I don't drink sugar and cream in mine.
You have it straight black.
Yeah, if I do put anything in it, I may put a little cream and that's it. But usually it's black. Yeah.
What does the doctor always ask you? How much do you drink? Do you drink coffee and do you smoke? Now, they're asking you for a reason so they can gauge how stupid you are.
That's not a stupidity test.
Yes, it is. Because
No,
the
it's
more
not.
you do those things, the more you know you're not
Hey,
supposed to because they're not good for your health.
I'll disagree with you on the coffee because coffee does have a lot of health benefits. It does.
You could be just as healthy, if not healthier, without it. It's a stimulant, it's a fad, it's idiotic.
I don't really feel like I get a stimulant out of it, but I just
You do, and you've
the more.
admitted it. You say, I need that jolt in the morning to get me going.
No, I did not. When did I
You
say
did
that?
so. You did. You said this in the past. Oh, I like that little extra kick it gives me in the morning.
I never said that.
You
I don't
did.
describe my coffee like that. I
Why do you
never.
drink coffee then? Why do you drink coffee?
I do like the aroma and I like the taste. I don't mind the taste.
I like the aroma. I'll guarantee you it's
Mhm.
better than cigarette smoke.
Yeah, it's a great smell to wake up to. It's
Great
like,
smell.
wow.
If I could
Yeah.
just have like the smell of coffee in the house, I'd be
Mhm.
fine with that. But I don't
Yeah.
need to drink it. Ugh.
Okay. Well, it's fine. So,
Hey,
listener, if
you
you
know
like
what?
your coffee, you let
If
me know.
Oh, I know there's a vast majority of people that will go against this.
Mhm.
And there's also a
I
great
don't blame you for.
industry on teeth whitening things. Why do you think
Oh,
it's there?
I don't have a
Because
problem.
people are drinking
I
coffee.
don't have a problem with that. But no, I don't blame. I honestly don't blame you for not having coffee.
Have
That's
you
fine.
have you
That's fine.
tried going for like a year without coffee?
Not a year, but I mean, there's been
What's
days I
the
just.
longest you've gone without coffee?
Oh, I don't know. 2 weeks or almost
Ooh.
2 weeks. I
And
would say almost two
why
weeks
did you stop?
because I was hiking.
You had no choice.
Well, there was some coffee, and then we just didn't have any for the rest. It was a 2 week hike, and I had coffee for some of that, but then we just didn't have it. So it's not. It doesn't affect me when I don't have it.
So
Not
why
that
did
big
you
a deal.
start back up?
I told
'Cause
you.
I like it. Okay,
Yeah,
why
like
would you yeah, you could save a whole lot of money without buying coffee too. It's just stupid
look, I'll
expensive.
walk the dogs in the morning. I'll sit in the garage if the weather or outside of the garage if the weather's nice with a cup of coffee and just sit
Why
there
not
in
cup
the
of tea?
dark. Oh, I'd be fine too. But it's because Kim drinks it, I'll drink it, so I make a pot of it. So I'm already making it.
And
So,
why not a cup instead of a pot? Then you're only having one.
well, I may make a pot.
If you make a
If
pot,
there's
then you feel like you have to drink a pot.
no, I do not. I will heat up that pot the next day. It doesn't matter. I'm fine with that.
Day old reheated coffee. There's
Actually,
luxury.
because of the acidity in the coffee, you can keep it in there for a day or two. It won't get mold
So
or
you're
anything.
adding an acidic thing to your body. That's good for you.
I'm saying the acidity in the coffee doesn't it doesn't go bad right away. So like a couple of days, it's fine. You can just heat it
Caffeine's a
up.
drug, man. Caffeine's a drug.
Okay.
You're a druggie. You're an addict.
Oh, did I mention I drink decaf?
You did. You do not. That stuff's terrible. Tastes like
No,
turpentine.
There are some health benefits to coffee. Go look it up.
I know. We've had this discussion a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the people who drink coffee lean on that. It's like saying
I'm just
smoking has
no.
health benefits too.
I don't go around justifying coffee to everybody. Just you. So it's not like I have the things in my back pocket and I'll pull out the reports.
I feel sorry
the
for the
papers.
people who stayed till the end of this show. We're gonna get out of here. Thanks everybody for sticking around. That brings us to the end. If you want to get in touch with us, share your views on coffee, what it's good for or what it's not.
I should change the question of the week. Oh my gosh.
Is coffee good for you or not? Or why do you drink coffee or whatever? Call us on the listener line, 707-530-2428. Otherwise, you can email us. If you happen to be outside, your postage stamp on your telephone doesn't reach that far. Technorama@chuckchat.com. I have no idea where any of that metaphor came from or where it was going. It was just crazy.
I don't know either. Yeah. Maybe you should have some coffee and it would straighten you out.
You don't want to see a caffeinated Chuck. How about that?
Yeah.
Till next time, tell a friend about Technorama. And Craig, give us a binary high five.
All right. 101.
Thanks, everybody. Stay safe. See you next time. Done.
There you go.
Wait for the light to go off. Yay! I put 2 Post-it notes in this studio now. These may seem silly. Don't forget to hit stop.
Right.
Because if I turn off the mixer before it hits stop,
You
it
know what?
deletes. It doesn't save the file, and I did that twice on an interview. It's
Oh.
me nuts.
You know
Now
what that reminds me of?
these are work podcasts, so I'm recording everything on Zoom as independent tracks. But Zoom quality isn't the greatest, especially because it tries to like duck some tracks while other people are talking, and it drives me nuts. So
You can turn the ducking off.
no, it's more like the automatic gain control thing. You can't really turn it off.
You know, I was gonna say when you held that Post-it up, immediately reminded me of the H2 we used to record with. I still got mine. H2.
Mm-hmm.
You had to hit record twice.
Yep. Put a label right on the display. Hey, record twice.
I think I put I taped a piece of paper on the back that says hit record twice.
All right. Well, we're going to stop the live stream now. Thank you for hanging out with us, and thank you for watching later. We'll record again next Sunday. Yes. So we'll be recording on the 15th of October. That will air on the 18th. The next few weeks after that are going to get a little dicey, but I think we can fit them mostly in. There's only one at the end of October that's going to be completely out of question.
Well, that's
we shall see.
Halloween. Everything. So yeah.
Oh, there's our question of the week. What are you going to wait? When we were stuffing food bags at Feed My Starving Children, one of the helper ladies came around and she was distracting us from our efficient packing process.
Right.
She asked some of the people like, pumpkin spice latte, yes or no? One guy says yes. Hot or cold? She's talking into her little soup ladle thing and like a microphone.
Okay.
Hot or cold? And passes it over to the other lady. She goes, hot. She comes over to me and says, what are you going to be for Halloween? I said, sober.
Sober.
She couldn't follow up. She basically walked away with her head shaking. I said, no, you don't understand. I'm sober October.
Right. Sober. It's funny.
She didn't say, what are you going to dress up as? So I just took it. What are you going to be?
Farnsworth. Who?
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Take care.